for my film, What is a Woman, which is streaming now exclusively on the Daily Wire. And you go to whatiswoman.com and get signed up, and you can watch the film right now. Many of the conversations we had were unintentionally hilarious. Many were disturbing. Veering significantly over to the disturbing end of the spectrum is my interview with Dr. Michelle Forcier, who is, as you'll hear her proudly identify herself, a gender-affirming pediatrician, also an abortionist. We flew up to Providence, Rhode Island, to speak with Dr. Forcier. She was, friendly enough at first. And what we found in many of the interviews that you'll see in What is a Woman is that gender ideologues are very polite and nice right up until the moment when you express any skepticism at all. But before we get to that point, where things really start to sort of fall apart, let's get to know Michelle a little bit. Watch.
Okay, so for some of you that's like lost, right? Matt Walsh, he's a conservative man, right? He did a documentary called What is a Woman? Now, it's basically, the whole documentary is pretty much Matt Walsh. He's traveling around different states, different cities, even different countries. You know what I'm saying? Basically asking people what is a woman. You get what I'm saying? And what's insane to me is that there are people out here that are literally refusing to give a definition. You literally have females, biological females out here saying, well, a woman could be anybody. Like, what? You're a woman though. Like, why can't you answer the question? You're a woman yourself. Why is it so hard to answer such a simple question? You get what I'm saying? And then you got these insane people calling Matt Walsh a transphobe, a homophobe, and all of this, when really he's just asking all these feminists and all the people on the left, he's just asking them like, what is a woman? But they can't seem to answer the question. And you know why they can't answer the question? Because they're soft. They're soft. You know what I'm saying? They're too scared to speak up for themselves. Because they don't want it. They're scared of the backlash that they'll get from the LGBTQ community. I don't care, man. I'm the type of person, I speak my mind. You feel me? If you don't like the truth, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
My name is Michelle Forcier, and I have a medical degree from University of Connecticut, residency, University of Utah Pediatrics, and I've worked for a number of different Planned Parenthoods for 20 years. I do advanced contraception and abortion, as well as gender hormones, and sort of looking at the whole sort of schema of gender, sex, and reproductive justice.
So you've done a lot of work in this field. Could you just start by telling us?
Sure.
At what age can a child first begin to transition into another gender or identify themselves as a gender different from how they were born?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's research and data that show that babies and infants understand differences in gender. Some children...
Y'all heard that, right? She just said babies and infants. She said babies and infants understand the differences in gender. Mind you, a baby does not have the same cognitive ability as a fully developed adult human. You're talking about a baby who has really no sense of reality yet. You get what I'm saying? And they're not going to have any sense of reality for a few more years. You know what I'm saying? How are you going to say that a being like that can know the difference between gender? Like, y'all don't see how crazy that sounds? Like, oh my gosh, man. Society has lost it, man. Society has lost it. This is crazy to me. This is crazy.
Figure out their gender really early. And the reason why we are say, oh, that's interesting or important is because they're figuring out their gender identity is not necessarily congruent with their sex assigned at birth.
When the doctor sees the penis and says, this is a male, has the sex of male, that's an arbitrary distinction?
telling that family, based on that little penis, that your child is absolutely 100% male identified, no matter what else occurs in their life, that's not correct.
So what is gender affirmation care? You're a big proponent of. If we walk through, a child is sitting down with you, is questioning their gender. What's the gender affirmation process?
Affirmation means that as a pediatrician, as someone who says my job is to provide the best medical care for you, is I need to listen really carefully. And how I put it in words for kids so that they can understand it is, tell me your story. Where have you been in terms of your gender and your gender identity? Where are you right now?
See, but you wanna know the problem with that is that a kid is not gonna be able to tell you that because they're not fully developed enough to even comprehend any of this stuff that you're talking about. You cannot come up to you, bro. You cannot come up to me and say that a kid really has the capacity and the cognitive ability to be able to tell me who they are as a person. Kids don't know who they are. Kids, bro, kids are the epitome of innocence. That's what makes them kids. They're innocent. They don't know anything. That's why it's our job as parents to guide them in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's our job as people who are more developed and do know the world to guide these kids, because they don't know. They don't know. You get what I'm saying? You like, bruh. This is crazy.
And more excitingly, where would you like to be in the future?
Have you ever met a 4-year-old who believes in Santa Claus?
Mm-hmm.
So this is someone who believes that a fat man is traveling through the sky on a flying reindeer at lightning speed, coming down his chimney with presents.
Yeah.
Would you say that this is someone who maybe has a tenuous grasp on reality?
They have an appropriate 4-year-old handle on the
Sure.
reality
Agreed.
that's very real for them.
Agreed. But Santa Claus is real for them, but
Yeah.
Santa Claus is not actually real.
Yeah, well, but Santa Claus does deliver their Christmas presents.
Well, yeah, but he's not real, though.
He's not real.
To that
Like,
child, they are.
When I
okay.
see a child who, believes in Santa Claus, and then let's say this is a boy and he says, I'm a girl.
Mm-hmm.
This is someone who can't distinguish between fantasy and reality. So
Exactly.
how could you take that as a reality?
I would say that as a pediatrician and as a parent, I would say how wonderful my 4-year-old in their imagination is.
Wow.
Male gametes. That's what makes me male.
No, your sperm don't make you male.
Then what does?
It's a constellation.
In reality. In truth. Okay.
Whose truth are we talking about?
The same truth that says we're sitting.
What the hell? She just said your sperm doesn't make you male. What? What? Your sperm doesn't make you male? Of course it does. Only men can produce sperm. Females can't produce sperm. The hell? Like, what do you... You know what?
In this room right now, you and I.
No,
These people
you're
are
not listening.
delusional.
If I see a chicken laying
Delusional.
eggs and I say that's a female chicken laying eggs, did I assign female, or am I just observing a physical reality that's happening in the world?
Does a chicken have gender identity? Does a chicken cry?
Well,
Does a chicken commit suicide? Let's
What does that have to do
frame
with-
it, because you're trying to...
chicken has sex like any
A chicken
biological organism.
has an assigned gender, but a chicken doesn't have a gender identity.
So we assign female to chickens when they lay eggs?
We assume they're female if they lay eggs.
That right there will
Oh,
go down for me
what the
as
hell?
maybe one of the most probably, and every other thing that makes it on this particular list also happened in the film, but certainly one of the most outrageous exchanges I've ever had with anybody.
Yeah, Matt, I give you props. You know what I'm saying? I give you props for being able to hold down that conversation with that woman. Because me, if I was speaking to her, oh boy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I would have been cursing her out. No, I wouldn't have been doing that. But she just would have been making my brain hurt so much to the point where it's like, I wouldn't even want to talk to her no more. Because, like, everything that comes out your mouth is delusional nonsense. It's just all delusion. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Seriously. She literally just sat up there and said that sperm does not make you a man. Or, like, producing sperm does not make you a man. So, what does it make me then? Because only men, on a biological level, only men can produce sperm. Females can't produce sperm. So I'm confused. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
and of course, see, this is what happens when you start asking questions to the proponent of gender ideology. Is they end up backing themselves into various corners, and they have to make increasingly more wild sort of claims to get themselves out of the corners that they've backed themselves into. And so when you're talking about sex, for example, like it's all on a spectrum. And sex is something that is, as she says in our conversation, she says that sex is assigned at birth. That just like doctors are just
no, it is not. Sex is not assigned at birth. Our sex is determined by our biology. So whatever our chromosomes are, whatever our DNA is, that's what determines whether we will be a man or a female. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like our sex is determined by biology. It's not assigned to us. You can't assign a sex to someone. That sounds idiotic. Like, that doesn't even make sense. You can't assign a sex. It's determined by biology. This is not rocket science. I don't know what's so hard about this to understand. Like,
deciding this kind of arbitrarily.
I feel like I'm spending way too much time dealing with other people's problems. How do I set boundaries with them?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip this ad. That's tough.
Well, if that's the nature of sex, then what about other organisms aside from human beings? Okay, we would also say that when a chicken is laying eggs, oh well, that's a female chicken. Are we assigning that? Is that just something we've decided? The chicken is female?
No.
Or is the chicken female? Now, if the chicken is female, then that would tell us something.
Because a male can't lay eggs,
which is that it's not assigned.
You know what I'm saying?
But she can't go along with that, and so she starts talking about the chicken's gender identity and whether chickens commit suicide. And it doesn't get much better from there.
Yeah, that just
well, last week,
crazy.
Kim Kardashian announced her new role as chief taste consultant.
Yo, Matt, you know I mess with you, but I gotta skip this ad. You know what I'm saying? Get your money though. Get your money. Get your money. Get your money.
Panicking because they're getting breast buds or their penis is getting bigger and busier, and they're worried about all kinds of masculine changes.
She just looks
and
crazy. Like, just look at her.
Blockers, which are completely reversible and don't have permanent effects, are wonderful because we can put that pause on puberty. Just like if you were listening to music, you put
why would you want to do that though? Like, why would you want to pause puberty when it's a natural phenomenon and everybody goes through it?
Just delayed that period of time.
She just sounds crazy.
Later in the film, as we start getting into more of the specifics here about puberty blockers, and I'm not gonna say.
And listen, for some of you that may not think this is it's not a big deal, Michael, you need to relax. First of all, it is a big deal. This type of stuff is affecting a lot of young children out here in society today as we speak. You know what I'm saying? A lot of children are being indoctrinated and brainwashed into thinking that changing your body parts and getting your body parts cut off and just because you feel like something, you get what I'm saying? And you really have evil parents, evil deluded parents out here that are entertaining their confused kids' minds into making them think that, you know, just because they feel a certain type of way, they can be what they feel. No, they're a child. You as a parent, you have no right to entertain your child's delusion. As a matter of fact, it's your job as a parent to take your child out of that confusion and tell them what is right and what is wrong and tell them the truth. That is your job as a parent. You entertaining the idea of them wanting to change their bodies, that's not being a good parent. You're entertaining, you're continuously entertaining their deluded minds. Because that's really what it is. These children are confused. They don't know who they are. They're confused. And you evil, deluded parents, y'all not making it any better. Y'all just making it worse. You get what I'm saying? So whether you think this is not a big deal or not, it's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And that's why me personally, when I have kids, they're not going to school. They're not going to public school. My kids are getting homeschooled. And I really mean that too. My kids are getting homeschooled, bro. They're not, I'm not, my daughter, my son, they not about to get brainwashed and indoctrinated by none of this stuff they got going on. Hell no. You get what I'm saying? Because this society has lost it. This society has lost it. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. You get what I'm saying? It's only going to get worse. Bro, when I was growing up, none of this stuff was even going on. Bro, when I was growing up, I didn't even know what gay meant. I didn't even know what gay was. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, and I'm not even exaggerating when I said that. When I say that, because you got to understand, I'm 22 years old. I was born in 1999, but I grew up in the early 2000s. In the early 2000s, yeah, there were gay people out and about, but it wasn't a lot of them out there. You get what I'm saying? There was a very small percentage of them. And then not only that, but you wouldn't hear about it on the media or like TV. Like you wouldn't hear about this stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like every time you go on TikTok, on Instagram or something, it's a whole bunch of kids, whole bunch of teenagers who are just confused. That's really what it is. They're just confused. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what they are. But you know, they talking about they're embracing and talking about their sexualities. Like it's okay to go on social media and talk about your sexuality and embrace it. Because at the end of the day, nobody really cares about your sexuality. If you want to be gay, be gay. You know what I'm saying? Live your life. You know what I'm saying? My problem is when you try to indoctrinate and confuse little children into these type of ideologies. And that's when I have a problem, because kids are innocent. They don't understand, that they're not even developed enough to even understand these kind of concepts. So you confusing these little kids is really messed up. You know what I'm saying? Because you're manipulating them, and that's not cool. You get what I'm saying? That's not cool at all.
Myself right now a lot in response to that, because you have to go watch the film. Because as I said, I'm asking questions, and we don't just ask questions of people on this side. We bring in other people. So there's a little bit of a back and forth here, but we're going to get a response in the film to this claim that puberty can just be, just pause it. As she says, like music. Does the human body work that way? I mean, is that the way it works? Where you can take a drug to intentionally interfere with certain normal, healthy processes, and you can take, and then there's no negative consequences at all. Just stop taking the drug and pick up where you left off. Which, of course, the interesting thing is that even if that was true, which it isn't, as you'll see in the film, but even if it was true, well, then wouldn't that mean, if a child's taking puberty blockers to stop their normal development, and then we're just putting it on pause for, let's say, 5 years, and then they decide that, okay, I don't want to take this anymore. Well, at a minimum, now they're going to be 5 years behind in their growth and development.
Exactly.
So even according to her version of events, like at a minimum, you're going to have stunted growth, and you're going to have someone who is behind in their physical development. But actually, the consequences are a lot worse than that.
This world,
Hi,
oh my
name is
gosh,
Luis
man.
Munoz,
I don't know
and
I don't know what's going on with
Center,
society. I really don't.
located in
As we discover in the film, and as we get into in this next exchange about the puberty blockers themselves.
See, I mess with Matt Walsh because, like, Matt Walsh, he's just one of those dudes, like, he don't care about your feelings. He don't care. All he cares about is the truth. Truth is what matters, man. And this is what I'm gonna tell y'all, right? Lying does not make things better. I repeat, lying does not make things better. It only makes things worse. Telling the truth will, in the long term, make things better. But when you lie, you're only delaying the inevitable. I don't know if I said that right, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you're only... It's only going to get worse as time goes on, the more you continue to lie. But when you tell the truth, eventually things will get better. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all I got to say, man. Like,
Themselves, what are they? What do they do? What is their actual purpose? Let's watch that. One of the drugs used is Lupron, right? Which has actually been used to chemically castrate sex offenders.
You know what?
wait, what?
I'm not sure that we should continue with this interview
Whoa,
because it
whoa,
seems like
whoa. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. So these drugs that they're using on these kids, these hormone blockers, that, as they call them, right? He just said that these are the same type of drugs that they use to castrate pedophiles, sex offenders. I didn't even know that. That's crazy to me. Yo, bro. Even if that wasn't the case, it still doesn't change the fact that all of this is like just weird and disgusting and messed up. But now it's even more weird and disgusting that you're using drugs that you use to castrate sex offenders and rapists. You're using those same type of drugs on little children. Like, what society are we living in? Like, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. This is crazy. And she just look at her. You know what I'm saying? She just looks demented. You know what I'm saying? I would not want to go to her. I would not want her to be my doctor. You know what I'm saying? She just looks demented. Just look at her face. You know what I'm saying? Just look at her. It's a lot about her we don't know about.
it's going in a particular direction.
Well, you're a medical professional,
I am a medical professional.
so you don't want to talk about the drugs that you give to kids, or
Again, I'm a physician and I use medication. You're choosing exploitive words. Drugs I give to kids.
I'm choosing a
chemical
word that was
castration.
in a dictionary.
Exploitive
That's not a correct
words.
term for puberty blocking.
I mean, I could look it up on my phone, but I'm pretty sure if I looked it up, like,
You can look it up on your phone.
it says medical definition: the administration of a drug to bring about a marked reduction in the body's production of androgens and especially testosterone.
And I'm saying, as a pediatrician who takes care of hundreds of these kids, when you use that terminology, you are being malignant and harmful.
I mean, there are
Malignant
some
and
who would say
harmful?
that giving chemical castration drugs to kids is malignant and harmful.
It's about the context of caring for a child and seeing the suffering that kids can have that have not been in affirmative home situations.
So that was the part in
Oh,
our
God.
conversation where things got a bit
Yeah, that was
contentious. But I wouldn't say
was
that
disturbing.
that's when they started to get contentious. Actually, what we discovered in doing these interviews is that I kind of knew going in. I had certain points in mind where I thought, okay, well, when I ask this question, things might get a little bit tense, and I kind of know because that's more of a challenging question. And what I found so often in these interviews is that things got tense much earlier than I originally thought they would, because there were questions that I thought would be really easy for the person that I'm talking to.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I gotta watch this documentary. Like, I gotta watch the whole documentary myself so I can really see everything. Because from what I've heard, that wasn't the only crazy interview that he had. You feel me? There were like other crazy interviews that he had with other delusional people. So I gotta see everything about that as well. I'm gonna just end the video right there. I hope y'all enjoyed the reaction video. I'm gonna be coming out with more reactions as usual. Y'all already know the vibes. You feel me? But yeah, man, society has lost it, man. This is crazy. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. But yeah, man, I'm gonna see y'all later, man. And I'll see y'all on the next video.